The worksite can be a vicious place for unsafe environments that require workers to participate under extreme conditions of daily productive activities. For decades, mega projects, better known as major infrastructure, have sparked intensive conversation for causes under work-endangered environments and occupational stress. Now, to develop a concise picture of workplace stress dynamics, we must first begin to imagine the early project life cycles across a major metropolis of competitors. These competitors involve certain jurisdictions, including cities and other potential applicants vying for available credit and project funding each year across the nation. That's worth over trillions of dollars. Investments will go towards new construction, maintenance, and restorative economic developments, where communities are bound to benefit from livable wages, compensations, training, and work opportunities. The awardees who receive funding can borrow money for these projects that pay for a range of major bridge, road, port, telecommunication, railway, and heavy highway projects. This being long after all the time and money spent toward business research and development has met all project requirements. A business case study is therefore approved and can move on to the next phases of prime contractor selection. Prime contractors on major infrastructure projects gain camaraderie of reputation backed by many years of construction experience, and are typically located either in-state or can fly in project teams by the closest regional offices. Once the best fit is selected, and for one who can meet all the executive owner's goals, desires, and objectives, job sites are naturally quick to boom just under one night. A worksite can therefore start its activities, however, only after a prime goes through the signing several compliances and gains clearances through many important regulatory stakeholders, including laws restrictive for stress monitoring under constructive production. These become the gateways for site preparations, including access to land, mapping, survey, marking, trailer setup, fiber optics, security cameras, barricades, transportable lighting, and the installation of super large generators. This type of job site is the future layout for a pre-foundational work haven, buoyantly on trajectory for massive industrial scope and scale of production, and where tradesmen and women gradually become densely loaded into spatially structured compacts within distance of large foundational components. Their ability to then focus work efforts as the project site grows will be peaked to its full intensity, which equally perplexes a natural geography of rising ecosystems requiring consistent workers to adapt quickly and effectively. Stress on a worker's body and their mental states is set by the rigid dirt topographies and worksite navigation. In my experience to mitigate between worker-contractor issues, it is a known fact workers are rarely afforded by their misjudgments and by supervisors as they maintain under extreme forms of time pressure. Local cement pours and freshly poured materials often requires up to 300-plus ton machinery capable of lifting, pulling, placing, moving, and erecting oversized and small materials that support its structure. Being said, this type of job site may reach temperatures well above 275 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a smoldering oven. Job crews must be prepared to work safely at fast pace and under the clock, and the situation's only getting hotter. When we talk about the types of workplace stress, it's important to note the series of dangerous chemical exposures, including hazardous waste, vaporous liquids, and containments that emit to the physical apparatus of one's senses. These are often exposures non-visible to the human eyes and to which cannot be identified very easily or simply through human smell. Every year, first-class burns and severe skin irritation become a leading cause of workplace-reported accidents. Secondary to major falls, proper tool use, environmental noise, traffic control, and failure to properly operate heavy equipment. Combined all these factors, this is the subject for much, much larger consequence of occupational stress risk, probable illness, issues of attendance, and retention effort. But we believe in a future that works in prevention and reduction occupational stress risks. Businesses face a perplexity of new occupational stress challenges as seen through changing workplace practices, access to capital, demographics, land, equipment, labor, technology, and disaster environments. The continued growth of concerns have historically guided the attention of organizations like the Occupational Safety and Health, who provide studies to most industry professionals in occupations with high tolerability and exposure to stress. Experts suggest increased challenges to occupational stress include psychosocial, physical, and psychological risk linked to work-related stress. Further identifying non-communicable disease, notably of circulatory, respiratory disease, cancerous disease, and more severely, issues that potentially lead to death. We begin to see the exposure to work stress presents a most dynamic environment of issues directly correlated to workers who experience high levels of suffering. This, in addition to forms of economic barriers that stem from probable loss, including job uncertainty, loss of income, health benefits, and other potentially damaging stressors. Now let's reflect deeply to early cause and effect directly influenced by organizational power and authority structures. Project culture often reveals early warning signs of system bias, judgment, prejudice, exploitive lobbying, profiling, egocentric mentality, and practices adversely affecting business outcomes. These become the early catalysts for company intergroups that highly associate project participation to project costs and the increased millions of dollars spent from an influx of money. As a result, we naturally see workers' rights quickly deteriorate due to economic motivators as the primary source of business interest, often in lack of stakeholder support. Concluding, occupational stress factors only become serious when dire catastrophes of events are bound to occur, and further, the non-compliant stakes are at their significant highest. Though while regulatory processes make significant progress, inconsistent project statistics prove not all risk-related occupational stressors as capable of being identified and confidently addressed by management and staff. This said, the capacity of stakeholders to set stress program goal progressions is subsequently the conscious response to receive positive performance productivity outcomes. Therefore, the implementation of short-term stress program planning and strategy will conversely instill long-term organizational values that increase the benefits of health and safety. Such development of a comprehensive business plan will act as one of many supports to sustainable solutions of yearly profits and annual revenue under increased production effort, giving rise to system wholeness, appropriate support mechanisms of training, coordination, and trust building in management. This should eliminate most circumstances where expert in occupational stress, health, and safety, or human resources, historically has identified very high numbers of workers resistant to report immediately on issues, and adversely in systems wrought with inadequacies that do not allow intentional response to perform intakes, investigate, monitor, counsel, and direct workers to effective health program providers at the lowest energy exerted by organization. Today's stress-conscious programs offer comprehensive solutions in probability and likelihood of stress risk occurring, where dramatic changes in resource capital and losses decrease the outcomes of return on investment in your first, third, and fifth year of business. Construction companies and other major industries might check out Empower Business Entrepreneur and Design, an online course guide at www.meritonuse.com. Empower is a comprehensive business design program that takes the guesswork out of all your organizational assumptions, meant for all-around education and training of your key and non-key stakeholders. It provides an impressive key performance guidance system for setting all your organizational core preferred values, consciously streaming your daily activities and clarifying reporting logistics and improved performance. Empower is an actively progressive goal-setting tool that interconnects good decision-making at the desired level of outcomes. For a direct link to workplace inspection and assessment infographic, check out the description box at the end of this video. Assumptions of occupational stress should ascertain present causes and effects in an empathic perception and involvement of all stakeholders, even those of outside providers, citing from early exposures of workers becoming a direct or indirect exposure to adverse factors affecting the personal experiences of economies. A worker can and will suffer from external creations simply because of the pain from reporting an issue, lack of supervisor training, program funding, and instances of retaliation. Thus, manipulations at play in and outside of the workplace to adversely contort outcomes from actions that transpire under economics, politics, social implications, and cultural involvements should be set at the highest consequence experienced from powers of authority and staff at the level of its honest, transparent light of policy, procedure, and practice. Meaning, an authentic intention should be posed as significant under a transparent representation of effort, where it is proven effective remuneration to be authentically paid for by individuals, groups, and organizations when integrity is upheld to its highest possible standards, building a highly conscious, very professional, and respectful image within the best performances of organization. It is at no high cost to empathize the heart value and trust of people with the mindset for business, that more and more people want to accept the teachings to be socially and ethically responsible as human beings. Contractors that exude positive stress-related preventions show improved economic factors who require stakeholders with an infectious transformational influence under honest business practice. Visionaries like you and me, more than highly conscious business leaders with an authentic interest, we set the preferred value for worker health and safety in servitude all around positive of win-win outcomes, leading by example for the generations of the future. With that, don't forget to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment in the below.